Are you getting ready to take the Praxis core writing exam? That's test code 5723. If that's a test that you need to pass, then good news. My name is Bob, and I'm a test prep expert with Study.com. In this video, I'll walk you through everything you need to know about the argumentative essay on the Praxis core writing exam. First, let's go through a quick rundown of the Praxis core writing exam. The test is 100 minutes long and is split between 40 selected response questions, also known as multiple choice, and 2 essay questions. You'll have 40 minutes to complete the selected response questions and 30 minutes to respond to each of the 2 essay questions. In this video, we're going to go deep into one of the essays, the argumentative essay. Check our channel for deep dives into the selected response questions and the other essay, which is called a source-based essay. Praxis core writing gives you 30 minutes for each of the 2 essays. The first is the argumentative essay, which basically is asking you to give and justify your opinion on a topic. The topics are usually big issues that many people feel strongly about, such as minimum wage or free speech. The essay is scored on a scale of 1 to 6, with 6 being the highest. An essay scoring 6 states a clear opinion, has well-reasoned, sophisticated arguments, uses examples and details, has varied language use, and is free of errors. Of course, the graders understand that you are writing the essay in a test environment with only 30 minutes. You're not expected to turn in an essay that is polished to the same level as a school assignment. This also is not a formal academic essay. It's okay and encouraged to use I and talk directly about your personal opinion and experiences. In fact, the best evidence for your arguments is from your personal experience. The most important thing to remember, and I'll repeat this several times in this video because it's so important, is to address the prompt. You have to write on the topic that is written. If you write an amazing essay on a slightly different topic, you'll get a low score. Let's dive deep into an example essay, starting with the prompt. In this video, we will use an example prompt to walk through the full process of writing a high-scoring essay. Here's our sample prompt. Public universities should prioritize funding for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, programs over liberal arts programs. Evaluate the merits and drawbacks of this assertion. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the stance? Justify your viewpoint with concrete reasons and evidence drawn from your personal experiences, observations, or reading. Let's break it down. The prompt starts with a controversial statement. In this case, that public universities should prioritize funding for STEM. Your job is to agree or disagree with this statement and use evidence to justify your opinion. It's okay to agree with part of the statement and disagree with other parts. For example, you can agree that universities should prioritize STEM, but disagree that only public universities should prioritize STEM. If you do this, make sure that you support both parts of your opinion with evidence. Although the topic will probably be something that you are somewhat familiar with and have thought about at some point in your life, you are unlikely to be an expert. That's okay. You don't have to be. Your justification can pull on your personal experience, news articles you've read, or even social media posts. The graders aren't going to check the accuracy of your evidence. They are looking for how strong your argument is and whether you've selected evidence that supports it. And remember, you have to answer the prompt given. Let's say you feel passionately that public universities should increase funding in foreign language and study abroad programs and don't really care about STEM. That's great, but don't mention that in the essay. The essay prompt is about STEM funding in public universities, and that's what you need to write about. I recommend spending 5 to 10 minutes planning your essay, 20 minutes writing, and 5 minutes or less rereading and revising. When you practice, use a stopwatch to get used to how long those intervals feel so it's intuitive on test day. Before you start writing, plan out your essay. Do not spend more than 10 minutes planning. You need to have time to write the essay and give it a quick read and revision before submitting. The first step in planning is to decide whether or not you agree with the statement. You may not have a strong opinion, but you need to choose a side. I recommend starting with a T-chart listing out arguments for both sides. Spend a minute or two jotting down the first evidence or arguments you can think of. Then review your T-chart and choose the side that you think will be easiest to write an essay about. This may not be your real-life opinion, but that's okay. Your goal here is to make a strong argument and write a strong essay. You can see in my T-chart that I have twice as many points agreeing with the statement. This isn't my real opinion, but I think it would be easier to argue, so I'm going with it. Okay, so we're close to getting started with writing. You're not required to hit a specific length or number of points, but you do need to make a strong argument. I recommend a standard 4 or 5 paragraph essay. Very short introduction, 2 to 3 arguments, very short conclusion. You can write in other formats, but sticking with a familiar format can save you time during the test. You can focus on the strength of your argument rather than thinking about essay structure. Before you start writing, I recommend fleshing out your arguments a little bit more. Thinking ahead of time about what your evidence will be should save you time in the long run. Once you start writing, you'll be able to just write without having to stop and think. However, don't spend more than 10 minutes on your planning. Make sure you give yourself at least 15 minutes and preferably 20 to write the actual essay. The number of arguments you make isn't that important. If you tend to work slowly or are a slower typist, go for just 2 arguments. The quality of your argument and evidence is more important than the quantity. Once you've planned your essay, it's time to start writing. Your introduction and conclusion should both be very short. There are several ways to write a strong introduction. You could start with hook to engage your reader and then state your position. You can also start by acknowledging the other point of view and then explaining why you will argue the other side. That's what I've done here. The most important part of your introduction is clearly stating your point of view. Next, move on to your arguments. Pause the video and take a minute to read the 3 argument paragraphs in this example. For each argument, state your argument and then give specific examples to support your statements. You can't look up facts and statistics, so how can you give specific examples? Pull from your personal experiences and memories. In this excerpt, I'm describing career lists that I've seen in my personal experience visiting a high school career center. Make sure to cover all parts of the prompt. The prompt asks about STEM funding at public universities. My first 2 arguments don't really address public universities, so I made sure to talk about public universities in particular in the final argument. Finally, the conclusion. This can be short and sweet, and you could even skip it if you're running short on time. The arguments are more important. Use the conclusion to very briefly restate your main points and your point of view. You're not expected to submit a polished essay, but you will be assessed on grammar and mechanics. Save a few minutes at the end to read through your essay with a focus on grammar, punctuation, spelling, and sentence structure. Make minor changes. You won't have time at this point for large rewriting, but you can make quick fixes. The best way to prepare is to read the sample essays provided at praxis.ets.org. Review the fundamentals of strong writing in study.com's Praxis Core Writing course, and then practice, practice, practice. Write several essays and evaluate them against the rubric provided at praxis.ets.org. Ask a friend to give feedback against the rubric. It can be hard to judge the quality of your own work. Prepare for the essay and all other parts of the Praxis Core Writing with study.com's Praxis Core Writing exam. It covers everything that I just went through, but in a ton more detail. The course, written and vetted by former teachers, also includes short-form videos for every relevant concept and a bank of high-quality practice questions with answer explanations. And what's more, users who complete the course have a 92% pass rate on the test. If this video helped you, check out the other videos in this and other series for more Praxis test prep. And please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when new teacher test prep content drops. Are there specific tests or questions that you want us to cover? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to circle back once you have passed your test so that we can all celebrate with you. Good luck.